Well, I've started off the playoff season 0 for 2 today. We'll see how things go tomorrow and Monday, but and then the rest of the season. But two of my favorite teams have been eliminated. What are you going to do? Well, maybe we'll do better with Elon and stocks and all that kind of stuff. But Elon actually had another surgery on his neck. He says all is well, but it does hurt and he needed to have it done. So there you go. Uh, Everybody's sending good wishes to Elon right now. Roger Kapler, and that's with an underline. Roger underline Kapler with a K says initial impressions of FSD 12.6.1 on his Hardware 3 Model Y. So this is the first one I've seen all day today. I've been looking for this, and he's the first one to drive it around that I can see. He says, wow, with 3 exclamation points. He says the end-to-end highway is a game changer. It absolutely, drives like a human now, changes lanes at the appropriate time and early enough. Lane changes are happening immediately, and the car leaves the passing lane exactly the way I would do, at least in a standard profile. It is smooth, he says. The controller improvement is mind-blowing. No jitters, no awkward hesitations. The car feels like it knows what it's doing. The speed profiles, he says, nail it on city streets as well as on the highway. The car goes with the flow. With regard to deceleration, even in unplanned situations like stopping for an opposing, like a possum crossing the road, it's smooth like butter. Earlier lane changes, yes, no longer waiting for the last possible second. I have one specific spot where he's shown on earlier versions that it liked to squeeze in, and now in that same spot, the car just changed into the correct lane at the earliest possible time. Awesome, he says. One issue I observed, which seems to have been inherited from version 13, at one light, the car seemed to anticipate when red lights turned green, and it went too early. Anyway, but man, he says, Tesla underscore AI. All right, so he gives a great credit to everybody there. You guys did an awesome job, etc. Now, how about this exchange? You know who George Holtz is? I mean, you might, or Hotz, I guess, George Hotz. Not sure you know who he is. We haven't ever talked about him on the show, at least not for a year or so. George has created a product which you can attach to any car, which turns it into an advanced ADA, an automated driving assistant. It's got certain levels of what it can or can't do. And as you'll hear, he's commonly claimed that he's, behind Tesla, but, we'll catch up someday. Anyway, it's a couple $100, maybe a couple $100 to buy it. Maybe $1,000. Anyway, it hooks up to, I guess, like all kinds of different brands of cars. Anyway, he had an exchange day on X that I thought was worth going through. So by the way, you can find him on X under Real George Hotz, Hotz. He says he drove around with Tesla FSD 13 this morning. If you haven't tried it, it's really good. Somebody, then he says, should be here that Comma.ai, his company, Comma_AI, should be there in 2 years. We are massively scaling up compute and data ingestion, finally seeing some improvements and scale with these things. Sahil Poonami says, Sahil, Sahil, Poonami, no underscore anything else, says, it is incredible what you guys are achieving under such resource constraints. I wonder how many heads of autonomy at OEMs intentionally ignore your existence to deny their incompetency. I love it. George responds, lots of laughs. Yeah, how about we feel about Tesla? Lots of LOL. Yeah, how we feel about Tesla should be how Rivian and Lucid feel about us. It's that much more embarrassing for them since Open Pilot is also open source. His product is open source. Anyway, Jim McPherson, who goes under the handle 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐚𝐲, Jamez, says, what is your opinion on synthetic data as described at the CES being able to close the data gap advantage that Tesla currently has? It's been a bunch of conversation about that, and he responds, where did you see that described? Comma is using a variant of a synthetic data approach, whereas I'm pretty sure Tesla built a good baseline and pushed it to 13 with disengagement mining. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they did too, although Elon has said that they're also using synthetic. But the other companies, they just don't have the base data. So what choice do they have but to use synthetic? Yeah, so it's a real problem for everybody else. No, they won't be able to catch up using synthetic data, is what Elon and everybody else is saying. This is continuing with the conversation. 𝐄𝐮, 𝐒𝐭𝐮𝐬_UW. He says, is Tesla FSD 2 years ahead primarily because it has significantly more real-world on-road data? And George says, nah, they've always been around 2 years ahead. They started sooner and have more cash to pour in. We are currently still a lot more limited by the data processing compute than the actual raw data, although that might change. I think he's wrong on that. If Elon is right, and I believe Elon way ahead of as much as this guy's doing a great job, but I don't think he's right about this. Elon has said he needed, what was it, 2 billion miles of data in order to get to the actual goal of being safer than a human. This is from Andre Antonelli. Just like it sounds, I guess Tesla will be able to achieve FSD with HW3 then. George says, I heard FSD 13 is HW4 only. I was in an HW4 car. He's incorrect. Well, Elon has said, look, we're either going to make it work on HW3 or hardware 3. Did I say HW? Hardware 3, AI3. We're either going to make it work on that hardware or we will replace the hardware with hardware that works. So that's already been decided. This is from Kapil. Never mind. His handle is 𝐒𝐿_WANIKAPIL. Okay, there you go. He says, do you still stand by your prediction that robotaxis are 5 to 10 years away? And here's where George really goes off the rails. Yes, as impressed as my 30-minute drive was, the software crashed once, and it made maneuvers that would have gotten us pulled over right away if a cop was watching. There's 3 to 4 𝐒𝐮𝐬s to go to the, what is an 𝐿? OOMs. Anyway, to go to human level. People continue to be confused about what, I'm sorry, that's a new story. So I think, of course, we all think that George is completely wrong on this. Not sure how he thought a 30-minute drive was going to give him the information he needed. Not sure that he would consider himself to be so much more expert than Elon, the entire engineering staff at Tesla, dozens and dozens of people that have been test driving these various vehicles for months and months, and Elon's statement that he has test drivers in vehicles right now. Test drivers. The automated vehicles are being tested at this very moment, as we know, because we've seen them driving around the grounds at Austin, as well as we know they've got the program going up in Northern California. Okay, so people are continuing also to be confused about what Nvidia is now offering other companies to help them develop humanoid or other bots and to create automated vehicles. Larry and I think it was Larry and I talked about this the other night. No, it was anyway, whoever it was. It's when you're in an OEM situation, when your company is selling to other OEMs, you do get into original equipment manufacturers. So, if they're selling, let's say I'm making a transmission. I am selling that transmission to lots of different car companies, but then I decide I'm going to make a transmission. Well, that's a bad example, but I might be selling it to more than one company. Okay, the same transmission to lots of different companies. And so there's always this little, I want to have an exclusive or blah, blah, blah. Now, in this case, we're talking about software, and we're talking about the development of software that these companies could use as a tool, as part of the toolkit that they might need in order to get all the way to autonomy or all the way to a humanoid or other kind of autonomous bots, like a dog or some of the other things that are being done. It's just one tool. It's like, I'll give you the screwdriver, to fix your electric switch, but we know that the screwdriver is not going to be enough. You're going to need wire clips and, you're going to need all these other things. And you're going to need a YouTube video to watch in order to make sure you don't electrocute yourself. Well, that's kind of what's going on with what Nvidia is selling them, is one tool in the tool chest. And what these other companies are going to need is real world data, synthetic data, engineers, and tremendously capable computer scientists that are going to be able to interpret and work with his tool in addition to other tools in order to get to the finish line. This could take 5 years, assuming they had the right staffing. I spent a lot of time today and yesterday, a lot of time over the last 24 hours or so, listening to the Cathie Wood Employment Data Day Report, the All In podcast, the BG2 podcast, the interview with Zuck and Rogan, which is 3 hours all by itself, Larry Goldberg's interview with Dutch. I recommend that you watch all of them. I'm just guessing that a lot of you don't have time to watch all of those. So you've got me to do that for you. And anytime that I see anything in those videos that I think is worthwhile, I'm going to grab it out along with the other stuff that I read all day long or listen to or watch or whatever all day long. And that's how I run my channel. So, but if you do have time, in order, I would say watch Cathie Wood. It's about a 45-minute show, and the BG2. Now, Larry would be upset if I said, don't watch Dutch, don't watch him interview Dutch. I'm going to tell you to keep that time aside for Monday when his second interview with Dutch is going to be talking about ways to fix the healthcare system in the United States and also save money at the federal level on healthcare. Anyway, here are some of the things that I have gleaned and added to what I already thought I knew or didn't, anyway, but that's what I've gleaned. It's going to be an amazing year. Everybody says, just every single one of these top geniuses, these amazing people that are now in almost every case, billionaires or 100 millionaires who have started amazing enterprises, built large organizations, and who are respected by their peers all over the place. Every one of them is expecting 2025 to be a breakout year in just like across the board. With AI, potentially AGI, with the ability to now do not just learning, but also the next level, which is this running the information through several times, sometimes taking even 10 minutes of running the data over and over and over again through the LLM to get even better and better information out of it. All this stuff that is coming, the agents, which are supposed to be really hitting hard the second half of this year. And then, of course, the various embodied products, including lots and lots of robots. Some of those are already being sold, as you know. Elon adding 5,000 bots maybe to the workforce at Tesla. I don't know if you understand that 5,000 or even 1,000 bots that he's adding to the workforce, what that is going to do to the cost of goods sold for Tesla. We're talking about billions of dollars of savings. That's the same as it was $1 billion of profit. It's always easier to save on the buy side than it is to make money on the sell side. That's a lesson I've used my entire life. Anyway, all of these guys, virtually every one of these people, if you ask them, would also agree that Elon is the lead player and that Tesla and xAI are leading across the board in so many important ways. And who am I to doubt them? That seems right to me. All right. Some of them are also starting to get it, if they haven't already gotten it before, with regard to the demographic impact that I talk about and have been talking about for 2 years, that Elon is always talking about. You might want to do your own research on this, or I'll just keep on, bringing you what I think is important with regard to the demography. And most of it has to do with old people. Most of it has to do with folks that are my age, older, younger. But, the baby boom, like it or leave it, we are the driving force. We have the numbers. And now we have the wealth. So massive numbers, massive wealth. And guess what? We're getting older. We're getting sick. And so we're going to be putting a strain on the healthcare system. We're putting a strain on the Social Security system. We're going to be living at your house, and you're going to have to take care of us. And all of that is going to have a massive, massive impact on society. Now, on the other side of the coin, we got the robots coming, and we got AI coming, and that's going to help maybe to make up for the fact that there's just not as many folks between the ages of 20 and 30 or 30 and 40 or 40 and 50 as there are between the ages of 50 and 60 and 60 and 70. So, so the robots will will. I can guarantee you. And the AI is going to help mitigate whatever was going to happen. In fact, it may even make it even better. I expect it to be better, even though you have this aging society. They will be will be helped in terms of paying for that, as well as taking care of those folks by the robots and by AI. All of that's going to happen. This is what all of these guys are talking about, is these incredible breakthroughs. We are going to have societal issues that we're going to have to address with regard to robots and AI. But maybe, it's just one thought I saw somebody had the other day. I don't think I invented this one, that Grok might be the very one who gives recommendations as to how humans will be able to go out and find new ways to feel productive and useful and provide even greater wealth to their community and to the world. Anyway, if you might have some opinions on that, I'd love to know. Anyway, final thing today, I want to talk to you about the fires. Again, please know that I know nothing about this in terms of actually being a firefighter or anything like that. But this is my neighborhood. This is all happening right where I live. Specifically right now, I live in Riverside, so I'm about 45 miles away from the closest fire. But the fires that are happening in the Pacific Palisades and Brentwood, that is where I lived for 50 years. So I lived in west of Los Angeles, in Culver City, in Inglewood, in Santa Monica for 50 years. And yeah, these are my old haunts. I am watching places where I love to visit and things that I love to drive by that are now torched and gone, people that I know being evacuated from their homes. This is very personal, but at the same time, I did a lot of digging into the whole business of whether the city, the state are, not doing a great job, whether they are actually literally doing a horrible job. You're seeing a lot of headlines, and you're seeing a lot of stuff on X, if you follow X, of the mayor and the governor being pilloried because of the things that they've been doing or not doing. Moreover, I did a massive amount of research over the last 3 days into equipment and the future of equipment. So let me just give you a quick few things here. Number one is, it is unacceptable that the power lines in these residential areas that are fire prone are not underground. My dad was an electrical engineer. His entire career he spent working on transformers. The whole reason that he was working on transformers these were epoxy coated transformers that were designed to go in the ground because we were going to take all electrical underground 50, 60 years ago. Okay. So it's completely and totally unacceptable that these wires in these neighborhoods are still above ground. And these are wealthy, wealthy neighborhoods paying tons of money in property taxes. It's nuts. Number two, unacceptable that reservoir was empty. We have very, very good ability to predict weather now. You may have noticed, I'm very impressed with the way that the weather is predicted, at least in my neighborhood. Maybe you are too. It's getting better and better every year with the different techniques and AI that they're using in order to do it. They've known that these winds were coming. Governor Newsom said that they had placed fire equipment, in advance because they knew these winds were coming. I mean, it's not, anybody could have known that this was going to be coming. I don't know how long it takes to fill that reservoir, but I think they could have done it in time. Maybe they shouldn't have emptied it until after the first rains. Maybe that would have been a better thing to do. We haven't had rain in Southern California for about 9 months. It's not unusual. We sometimes get rain in September, October, November, December, but this year we get zero, none. Okay, it's very dry, and this is the first big Santa Ana we've had in a long, long time. It's unacceptable that the city did not do an adequate job of policing the brush. There are plenty of laws and rules and regulations with regard to the brush, and it's very, very clear that there was plenty of brush out there that was not. And now the residences are people that live there, they're responsible as well. But some of the places where the brush is, not the residents, the people that live there, it's not their problem. It's city property. And it's, again, very clear that the brush was not that great. It's unacceptable that the police chief says that she has 100 pieces of apparatus, including fire trucks, that are not currently functioning. And she says, while it wouldn't have stopped the fire and may not have made much of a difference the first day, when you got 6 fires going, you need every piece of equipment that you can get. I'm not sure, but I think it's probably unacceptable that the mayor of Los Angeles said no to the New York Police Department, New York Fire Department when they offered help. I think it's probably unacceptable that another set of fire trucks that were coming from some other location had to be thoroughly checked for smog or some such thing before they could be allowed to go to the fires. I think it's probably unacceptable that that there was cuts in the California state budget with regard to fire in the last year. Governor Newsom's office is claiming that they've dramatically increased the amount of money for fire, various aspects of fire prevention and fire fighting over his term in office. But the reality is, in the last budget, they cut it by $100 million. While we have plenty of money to build apartment buildings for the homeless, we have plenty of money to pay for the immigrants that are here. We even have $25 million, according to Newsom. We have $25 million to fight Trump on his intentions to remove criminal aliens from the state of California after he takes office. We have money for DEI. We have money for all kinds of things that I think are not as important as this particular firefight would have been had the money been there. Anyway, it's a total joke. We can hope that this will be the last straw for a lot of Californians, and maybe we'll throw out this not very good set of people that are currently running things. We need people with vision. We need people that are thinking ahead, that are recognizing all the innovations and all of the technologies that are available. And that is what I'm going to be doing a video with Brian Wang on tomorrow morning. You do not want to miss this video. If you have any interest in technology, if you have any interest in AI, if you have any interest in firefighting equipment, if you have any interest in possible futuristic ideas for how to do reservoirs. Anyway, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow morning. Probably, I'm saying around 7:45, the usual time I put my videos up in the morning. And so I'm just encouraging you to come watch that. Today, I did 2 videos earlier today, one with Brian Wang, and then one with Larry Goldberg. I mean, these are your 2 favorites. I mean, literally, I'm sorry to the other folks, but these are the ones. What you tell me in the comments is that you like Larry a lot. You like all of them. I mean, quite frankly, I think I have a great group of people on the show, but Larry Goldberg always gets huge numbers. And Brian Wang last week had the biggest day I've had in a month on one of his videos. So Brian is, as you know, extremely smart about these things. And Brian and I, earlier today, we had a great conversation about various aspects of Tesla, whatever. And then Larry Goldberg and I, we were doing the analysis of the Cathie Wood report on Friday night. And I mean, these are really, really good videos. I'm going to highly recommend. I'm going to put the cards right here. Maybe you were watching football, had friends over, you just didn't have time. Okay, here's the cards. Both of the cards right there. Go check them out. Okay, I think, oh yeah, join Patreon. I'm doing a lot of work for you. $3 a month. Couldn't hurt. It's Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you.